Welcome to Around Town, featuring what's happening here in the greater Concord area. I'm your host, Dick Patten, and we're here in our home in Immaculate Heart of Mary Church here on Loudon Road in the Activity Center. So thank you once again to Immaculate Heart. And tonight I'm very happy to have my guest, Paul Brogan, here, and Paul and I will continue on with our discussions about Concord and 250, and the holiday season now is upon us, and it doesn't seem possible that now Thanksgiving has passed and we're into the Christmas, Hanukkah season. Well, not Hanukkah just yet, but it's coming.
Coming, very close.
But Christmas season, you know, I just can't believe it.
No, it has raced by, the whole year has raced by way too quickly.
You know, we got rid of the election day, and that's gone now, and of course you yourself must be relieved that it's over with.
Oh, it's wonderful. I wouldn't want to be in that position at all when the house of cards comes crashing down.
Oh, I know.
So,
well, you know, even though Main Street does look nice.
Yes,
they've done
yes.
things. I will admit, they have got some wreaths on the light poles. I wondered what was going to happen. But it does have the reminiscence of a small town with their decoration.
Right.
I mean, let's face it, you and I are from the past, and we remember the glorious lights they always had on the street poles.
Right, yes.
But now with the poles they have, you couldn't fit them on there anyway.
No, you couldn't.
But it did look nice. And the tree lighting was a huge success. I have never seen so many people in my life, and you came down there, and it was everywhere.
It was, and I do want to say on the air that, you know, thank you to you and all of the people who worked with you to make that possible, as well as the Christmas parade, which I attended. I was someplace in the thousands watching it, and both were really, I think this year you set a new standard for how good they were. The way you incorporated the Concord 250 into the parade was very, very effective, and it really showed how a parade could and should be.
Should have been done.
And then again, the tree lighting, Mother Nature cooperated. I don't know how you worked that with Mother Nature, but you did something.
I don't know either, but I guess the weathermen loved me, or Mother Nature was kind this year or something. But.
Yes, but you had, people were absolutely in the most wonderful mood. They were just patient and nice and fun, and, you know, there was no, you know, nothing but a really great way to launch the season. And the tree never looked better. The additional lights you got really did make a difference.
We could maybe use another set on one side, but it's not the side you can see. But still, I saw it. But it was, and that was thanks to New Hampshire Federal Credit Union, who, along with the Grange, it supplies the lights for that tree, along with the Grange does the other two. But you know, it's
the new stars too are very.
That was beautiful. Like Sunapee Bank's donation. It was a beautiful star. I thought it was nice.
Absolutely.
You know, and that cost some money too. I mean, that was not a cheap $5 star out of a department store.
No, exactly.
So it was expensive, and that will last hopefully for. The other one lasted for almost 20 years that Bennett Pewter bought. So anyway, it's over and done with. But I still say, Paul, the highlight not only of Santa Claus coming, but the way that Concord Fire Department brought him in. I just stood there in awe of seeing that tower. You know, I thought it was the way he's been coming off the tower. But this year, that thing just swung around, and boy,
they really outdid themselves. And kudos to the fire department for that, because that really added something extra special. It was just a series of things that just seemed to all meld perfectly, and just really the enthusiasm in the crowd beforehand, and then once the lights came on. And even after that, you know, people didn't just leave. They lingered and they stayed and they watched and looked and everything. So it was a really good way to inaugurate the holiday season. And that was very reminiscent of the way it was when we were, you know, kids here in Concord. And it was.
Well, I've enjoyed it, you know, and like the parade, 44 years. Next year will be my 45th, God willing. And the tree lighting will be my 30th next year, along with 39th overall. But you know, it just when you see the when you see the smiles or the good-natured holiday feeling, that's what it's supposed to be.
Yes.
Then you know you've done something right. You know, when you have someone say to you that it is a very frivolous affair and they were not gonna waste their donation on it, that hurts.
Yes. Well,
And
that's
it really
unfortunate because this is one of those community events that really does indeed bring the community together, much more so than a lot of other things, allegedly.
Yeah.
And if somebody doesn't feel that's worth their while, it speaks more to them, not necessarily miserly, but a total disconnect as to what Concord is and what Concord represents, and how much something like this matters to people. And it's not just, you know, you had people of every faith and denomination there, all a part of this. And it's not just limited to a certain group. There were adults there that were just as wide-eyed, like you, when the fire department, you know, delivered Santa. So it's that kind of, you know, thing that matters.
Especially the ones that said that were located right in the heart of downtown, right, just not even a block from the State House Plaza.
Well, we can hope they were looking out their windows.
Well, I hope so. But anyway, we're now into the holiday season, and I can't believe the stores are all chiming away. The Salvation Army's out there with their bell ringers, and you know, just another season is upon us. But luckily, we have not got the snow that the Midwest or the Far West has got. Ooh.
Yeah, they've really been hit already. So
I mean, look at last year, we froze down there. This year was just the opposite.
Yes. Yeah, well,
So
there were people in shorts.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I said, not me. I was cold.
No.
I'm cold anyway.
Yeah, I put my legs away after Columbus Day because it's too much for most people.
Yeah.
But it was, you know, it was just a fun time, and it really was reminiscent of the spirit that Concord represented in such a large abundance, so you know, many years ago, and that's somewhat lacking in you know, some factions of the community. But
I was sitting there thinking, when I was down there getting ready, I was sitting there thinking about things of the past, and I was thinking of Santa there sitting at Newberry's, and then later on he was down at Sears, in that window there.
Yes, and then Brits had him, the Brits department
Brits.
store
That's
had a
right.
throne for him down there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where else. Now, Woolworths and Kresge's didn't have a
I
Santa.
don't ever remember him going there.
No, and I don't think Penny's did.
No, the Giant store did in Concord. They had that huge Santa out front of the store, but that was, you know, but he was inside.
Right, right.
But I don't remember even J.M. Fields or King's had one when they expanded to the shopping centers. Rich's, I don't know.
I don't remember Rich's or Ames or Zayre's. I don't remember any of them doing it. I think it had sort of by that time. Bradley's might have, but I don't remember for sure.
I don't either.
He might have made a brief appearance like one day at a place like that, but it wasn't someone, you know, you could go into, you had regular hours at Sears or at, you know, Newberry's where you could go and see him and you knew it, you could plan around it.
Remember the one year they had a Santa's hut on the State House Plaza?
Yes, yes.
And somehow the wind blew it down, I guess. But it was kind of quaint. The Santa was in there.
Yes.
And he would take telephone calls, or you would get a recorded message from Santa. But sometimes you were lucky and got an actual voice, and you were, whoa. Yeah, surprisingly. But
exactly.
I can remember him. I can remember Santa's hut. It was a small red building on the other side of the tree, nearest to the Veterans Monument.
Yes.
And you know, but I will say Kevin Tucker and David Hatch and all their associates did so much work down there. So much work to make that look good. They had didn't have the bandwagon. They had the band up by the what do you call it there?
To the left of the
Franklin Pierce.
Yes.
Franklin Pierce Monument.
Right.
And
they were very good. The
oh,
musicians were very good.
Everything was different.
And they kept everyone very, very charged up, which was nice.
Yeah. So now it's time to do your shopping and all those supposedly sales and then wrapping. And, it's really funny how when you're a kid things are so different.
Totally different. Totally.
And the schools. You know, I don't know what they do at schools anymore, because when I was in Dame school, of course, from kindergarten through 6th, each classroom had a tree.
Yes.
Santa came in and visited. The PTO, or PTA back then they called it,
Mm-hmm.
had a day when you could go up and buy a gift for a nickel or a
Mhm.
dime,
Mhm.
and or a cornball or something like that. I do remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got to junior high, of course, that started none of them had trees back then.
No,
They might
no.
decorate their window to their door.
Right,
But
right.
that was
Yes.
it. You didn't see any garland or
No,
anything of that
no.
sort.
No.
And-
At Bishop Brady, we did, in religious theme,
Yes.
we would have, and every classroom had a nativity scene, et cetera. So, because of being a parochial high school. But I think now they have to just be so careful that you can't, you can't appear to
I know,
favor
yes.
something. My mom, who does storytelling at the McAuliffe School, she gets a list of things she can't tell a Christmas story, she can't tell a Hanukkah story, she can't do, it's got to be something very generic that's not going to offend anyone.
Oh, I know, for a few years, they couldn't play Silent Night
No.
or Hark the Herald
Mhm.
or any of that. They could only play Winter Wonderland or
Right.
Jingle Bells,
Yeah.
and that was it. And their
Yeah.
winter concert instead of
Mhm.
Christmas
Mhm.
concert. I think now, though, for some reason, I think they've lessened up on that.
Have they?
I think so. You know, even Friday night down here, I forgot to announce it, I had a miniature menorah
Mm-hmm.
on the
Mhm.
table lit up
Mm-hmm.
for those who do observe Hanukkah.
Mm-hmm.
But even the radio stations there for a while
Mm-hmm.
cut back on Christmas music, but
Mhm.
now satellite radio they've been playing it since November 1st.
Yeah, Sirius Satellite has
Yeah,
has
that's
all of
what I
that.
have.
Yeah,
And
I listen to that regularly.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't think anybody 40 or 50 years ago was negatively impacted by having to sing, "Oh Come All Ye Faithful," or "Angels We Have Heard on High," or anything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
But it's just that we live in such a world now that has to feel it's politically correct, so you tiptoe around everything. But ultimately, I think sometimes something is lost when you have to be that careful.
Oh, yeah.
And spontaneity sort of goes out, and,
Oh, I know.
it's unfortunate.
So now we'll plan for next year on both things, 45th and 40th and the
31st.
30th,
Yeah, yes.
But now, of course, the politicians will take over for the rest of the winter or until February.
The signs will decorate the landscape.
Yes.
And then no sooner will the primary be over, and it'll be for the presidential campaign and next fall, and
And the governor's race will
Yes,
start in, and
yes.
US representatives race,
Mhm.
and they all want money.
yes,
I had a bunch of them yesterday, emails, they all want
Mhm.
money.
everyone.
Yeah,
And it's the same with in the mail. Every other piece of mail I get is a solicitation from
Oh,
somebody
yes.
for their annual giving or, something else. And it's just impossible. I don't remember it being like that years ago. I remember we gave to St. Vincent de Paul,
Yeah.
and we gave to the Salvation Army.
yes.
Beyond what you gave to many out there, you
Yeah.
always gave to her. But you would give because they represented such an amazing force in our community, the Salvation Army.
Oh, yeah, Minnie
And the
Brown
work they
would
were
sit
doing.
there in her chair in the summertime, but
Yeah.
even in the wintertime, she'd
Yes.
be out there at
Mhm.
Christmas time,
Yes.
even with their huts on Main Street.
All 80 pounds of her.
Yeah.
It wasn't much
Oh,
more
I
than
know.
that.
She was about 4'10" or
Yes,
something,
something
5
like
foot,
that.
and that was
Mhm.
it.
Yes.
But she was there, but yes, we always would give what we could to the
Mhm.
Salvation Army.
Yes. Yes.
And of course, when it was Memorial Day, Flag Day or something, we'd give the veterans
Yes.
poppies and
Mhm.
stuff,
Mhm.
donations. I mean, you had your certain times a
Right.
year,
Exactly.
you knew what was the time to give.
Mhm. Mhm.
But you're right, now it's like every day.
Yes.
And I know, and like I said, even with this, I know that people get hit up every
Mhm.
year. I know that.
Mhm.
But there are some events in the city.
Yeah.
that
Well, they're a
are city-
tradition.
That's right, traditions.
Yes. And I think that those need to be maintained, because if you throw away all the traditions, then you've got no core or foundation
That's
of
right.
what the community was and could be and should be. And so certain things need to be maintained. and I think that that is definitely both the tree lighting and the holiday Christmas parade, whatever it's called. What is it called now?
Christmas parade.
It is Christmas parade.
Yeah.
You know, those are important, and it's also exposure for young children to the excitement of these kinds of events, and a chance to really see all the people from the community, from all walks of the community, all together for something like that.
I can, seeing it at night with Santa getting off the ladder truck
Mm-hmm.
by that Capitol Street building reminds me when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
we'd go down to this parade, which then was on a Sunday
Yes.
afternoon at
Mhm.
2:00. And I remember one year he was on top of that building.
Building, yes.
And he came down by the ladder, I'm not remember. He
Mhm.
had like a microphone up there or something. He
Mhm.
spoke to everybody,
Mm.
wished them Merry Christmas and all
Mhm.
that. Then he came down and lit the
Mhm.
tree again
Right.
or whatever. But that was quite a thing
Mhm.
back then.
Yes.
And then of course after that he just rode the parade and
Right.
that was it. But
And they had a special float with the artificial reindeer or something leading the
Well,
sleigh.
and then one year, I remember him was on the back, he was on of course, the antique fire truck he rode one year. And then, of course, it was the J.C.'s that
Mhm.
sponsored it. And
Right.
of course, it was called the Santa Claus Parade
Mhm.
for several years.
Mhm.
And then it became Christmas Parade.
Mhm.
But now the 250 is almost done,
Yes, it is.
so that's it for that. And now we're just settling for a long winters now. Whatever, but like I said, I'm not ready for snow yet, but.
No, it can wait a little while.
Oh, yeah.
The white Christmas thing is great when you're a kid, but it's not quite as exciting now. When you
Exactly.
have to drive in it or shovel it, scrape the windshields and do all of those things. So, and we had enough snow last year
Oh.
to suffice. We had something like 100 inches, I think, of
Really?
snow last year.
Yeah, we
so.
did. I mean, they were saying the other day at the plaza when they had the tree up there, they were pointing out the pine cones up near the top, and they
Mhm.
said that was an indication that it was going to be a rough winter, because when you see the snow, pine cones so high, it meant
Mhm.
that was where the squirrels could get their food,
Mhm.
because they
Mhm.
purposely were up there. Well, I don't know where that came from, but
Mm.
I hadn't heard that. I mean,
I've
I
never
used to
heard
hear
that
a lot of
either.
old sayings from my
Yes.
grandparents,
Right.
but
Mhm.
that wasn't one of
That
them.
wasn't one of them.
I used to hear about on the ground all the acorns and stuff
Mhm.
that the squirrels would collect in the fall,
Mhm.
but I never heard much about the pine cones.
No, not me either. So.
So what are your plans for Christmas, Paul?
Very low key, very quiet, just family thing, nothing spectacular. I'm not going to put myself in debt for a year afterwards by, they said the other day on television that the average person is going to spend $800 and something on Christmas. And I thought, no, maybe a tenth of that, but because it just becomes stuff, and where do you put the stuff, It's more often than not stuff that you don't really need,
I know.
and it just gets piled into corners, and so, I'd rather just have it much more low-key.
Well, what I thought was odd was I read in the paper that they said Black Friday sales were down,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
heavily down. And
Mhm.
of course, Cyber Monday was up, supposedly
Mhm.
up, but, when we were kids though, we would never think of going shopping my folks would never think of going shopping on Thanksgiving Day.
Never,
Thanksgiving
No.
night.
No,
That was strictly family day.
totally. It was a respite from everything. The whole world rested, and that was it. And I just, there's no Christmas spirit for me. I mean, I used to get the Christmas spirit watching the Macy's parade.
Yes.
But it was in anticipation of Friday, the next day, not 3 a.m. in the morning or
Oh.
2 a.m. It was the next day, the stores opened, maybe at 9 o'clock, an hour early.
Yeah.
And that was, exciting. Although I would always wait until afternoon to go downtown because I wanted to see the lights come on,
That's the
which
thing,
would be
yes.
around 4:30, 5 o'clock.
That's right.
There wasn't an official,
Light.
for the downtown lights,
Mhm.
but they would be turned on usually 4:30ish or so,
Yeah,
and I wanted
yeah.
to see those. But this whole, obsession with going out and lining up and stampeding in, that just sucks the energy right out of the entire holiday. And it starts so early anyway. I mean, stuff has been around now for 2 months or more. so it's not quite those 4 weeks, that wonderful
No, I
window
know,
of
yes,
magic.
yes.
It's, it's been out there, and even the Hallmark Channel since October 31st, I think they started.
October
running.
30th they started.
Oh, did they? Yes.
Well, you figure they had 10 days in July.
Yes, that's true.
Total Christmas
Yes,
program.
yes.
And then they announced that come October 31st, they said 31st, but they actually started on the 30th.
30th,
Of nonstop Christmas programming
Right.
for 24 hours, 7
Yes.
days a week.
yes.
And it's brilliant, movies over and over again.
And there's only so many ideas, they just put different people in it, it's the same story.
Yeah.
And, it used to be Hallmark was sort of prestige, because
Oh,
you had the
yeah.
Hallmark Hall of Fame,
That's
which
right,
was
yeah.
a special 2-hour thing 4 or 5 times a year
Mhm.
around the time that, you'd be buying cards. And it was a very unique thing, and now it's just a lot of it.
Well,
I don't
that's
even
it.
know who these people are.
Well, yeah, I know, some of them I've seen on,
Mm.
there's one lady who's an actress on Hallmark, she was on 8 is Enough.
Oh,
I
okay,
believe that's the one.
okay.
The tall, she was blonde haired, she was Cameron, I think. her
Oh, no, she was from the thing with the fathers, with John Stamos and the Olsen girls and
Oh, okay,
That was the
oh,
one
I
that
know,
she
Family
was-
Ties. No,
Yes.
Family Ties?
maybe, no,
I
not
can't
family,
remember.
whatever that thing was.
Yes,
that,
I remember.
Yes.
Yeah, Ted Saget, Bob Saget.
Bob Saget, yes. She's the
That's
sister
right,
of
yeah.
Kirk Cameron,
Yeah,
who was
that's
on the other thing.
Yeah.
Candace Cameron Bure.
That's what it
yes.
was, yeah.
Yes, she's on The View, and she's
Because she
on
was
all of
on,
these.
she was
and-
on Dancing with the Stars a couple of years
Right,
ago.
exactly.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yes, Congress is petitioning that she be let out of the country because she's too much there. Every time you turn around, she's
Yeah.
in something else.
Well, I still like Rudolph, Red-Nosed Reindeer.
That's on tonight.
It is?
It's on tonight on CBS
Oh, I didn't know that.
in high definition.
Oh, wow.
Yes, not that I'm watching for it,
Oh, I will.
but
Santa Claus is coming
to
to
town,
town.
the
That
year
was
without a
favorite-
Santa
That was a
Claus.
favorite one.
I like Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol.
I
That used to be on.
wasn't crazy about
No, no.
that. Or Charlie Brown, they had his 50th anniversary
yes.
last night.
But-
But, the Christmas shows
Yes.
that we used to have,
Yes,
the variety.
yes.
Andy Williams,
Yes,
Lawrence Welk.
yes,
Mitch Miller.
yes.
Oh, my God.
They all had sing along with Mitch.
Yeah,
and
Harry
they-
Como,
Mm-hmm.
another one.
And they all had wonderful Christmas specials and,
No, and you just
it's
looked forward, because they were all
Yes,
Christmas
and
songs.
Bing Crosby did one every
Bing
year.
Crosby had one.
And the whole family
That's
gathered to
right.
watch his family.
Yeah.
None of them could sing on key,
No.
but it was okay. It was a family unit, and they were all together, and there was something just very warm and welcoming about it. So, but
But no, I remember those Christmas shows, you always wanted to watch them.
you did.
Then the cartoons that came in, like, it's hard to believe that those cartoons are still on after
Mhm,
all these
mhm,
years.
mhm.
Yeah.
Even though people can go out and buy them,
Yeah.
on DVD, they still
Oh, yeah.
have millions that tune in to watch them on television, and it's just,
I went on a website the other night, and it was the Lawrence Welk
Mhm.
fan club or whatever it was.
uh-huh,
I was talking writing with some of them about the memories, and I mentioned
Mhm.
about the Christmas show. They all had their families on the Lennon sisters,
Mhm.
and all that big
Mhm.
family.
Mhm.
And they're still performing today. There's two of them are the original ones, the other two have retired.
Retired, right,
But they've got two more sisters that are in there or something.
yes.
And then all the other parts of that outfit.
This is their 60th anniversary this
Really?
year. They started on the Christmas show in 1955.
Wow.
So it's 60 years. I tried to get them for the Capitol Center for a fundraising event last year, but they wanted so much money. They wanted $50,000 for them, plus first-class airfare for each of them and their family, first-class airfare for the musicians, first-class accommodations.
Okay,
So by the time the list, it was going to cost almost $90,000, and I'm thinking
My
Capitol Center
gosh.
for the Arts, we'd have to charge $200 a ticket to make a profit. Suddenly it's not a fundraiser. The manager did say, well, we'll take $2,500 off the price. So they would, that's it. So I thought, gee, for a nonprofit fundraising
Isn't
event, that's a
that
little
terrible?
pricey, yeah.
And of course, nobody can figure out what happened to Tom Netherton on it. Nobody, even the ones writing,
Right,
they don't know what
yes.
happened. He's still alive, but
Yes,
they
he
just
is.
don't know where he is.
He was running a bed and breakfast down in the
really?
south. And he stopped performing 5 years ago. I saw him perform 5 years ago in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And that was when I met Guy and Rome, or before I brought them to Concord for the fundraiser for the Granite State Symphony. And so he was still doing, at that time, select singing engagements, but I don't know if he still has the bed and breakfast, which was his main thing in Georgia.
Really?
Yes.
Now, you gave a talk recently, I see you brought with you about the Concord Theaters in
Yes.
1933 to 1994. How'd that go over?
There were about 40 people, which was good. It was in the screening room at Red River, and they had about 40 or so show up. Jennifer Kredovic did the intro, and it was interesting. They had a lot of questions. It was 2 hours, about an hour of it was just questions from people. The people that owned Star Hot Dog were there.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Because when I referenced the lines coming out of the theater going up Pleasant Street to Star Hot Dog for Valley of the Dolls, they really got a kick out of that because they remembered that people were standing out there in the winter cold waiting to, hoping to get in, and they stayed open and people were running in getting hot dogs to try to keep warm while they were waiting to win. Because we had 15,000 people went to that movie, and this is at a time when Concord's population was 28,000.
Now, did you have two screens in there,
Nope.
or just one screen?
Just one.
One screen?
499 seats.
And you had that many in line?
Yep,
How many times did you show it that evening?
twice.
So not many
And
got in
so
there.
you had 500 people out there waiting, and usually 2 across, so, it doesn't take long to go that far. But yeah, there were people that were turned away.
So it was just one screen in there?
Yes.
See, I thought there were two screens.
No, just one screen, 28 feet across and 24 feet high, and 499 seats.
And it's a shame that building has been nothing done.
Nothing done to it, and that was one of the topics people wanted to know. Here's this great space in there, you could reconfigure it with new seats that are a little bit bigger, and have maybe 300 seats, but you still have that huge place with a 50-foot ceiling. Projection booth is still there. The lobby is that long lobby that you could do something with, and it just sits there.
Listen, you've got Red River now, so it didn't get into
But as far as, we don't have the Anna Carrico anymore, so
No.
reconfigured, it could work maybe for music recitals, dance
Yeah.
events, where somebody doesn't want 800 seats at the auditorium or 1,200 and something seats at the Capitol Center, or can't afford to pay those prices. So you'd have something a little bit smaller that had, an ability. But there doesn't seem to be any interest. That was going to be one of the things I was going to focus on, because there's grants available to restore downtown historic theaters, and I'd offered to write one of those, and my capacity is
That would be something, yeah.
village idiot, I think,
Yeah.
it would have been. But I don't think there's any real motivation to do anything. And eventually it'll fall down. They'll have to tear it down, and it'll be another piece of our community lost.
Yeah,
And, I just
it's so sad.
think it's sad.
So sad.
But again, we don't seem to appreciate our past going back to the railroad station.
No,
We
yeah.
just tear it down if it's no longer exactly what we want it to be, when there are other ways to look at it. I mean, look at downtown already. They're replacing the brick crosswalks down there yesterday, because they're all buckling from and we haven't really had winter yet, but the bricks are jutting up and vehicles are hitting them in the crosswalk. So Durham had the same problem putting in brick crosswalks years ago, and they had to finally take them out. Because this is not the kind of weather. If you have intense cold, you're going to have them coming up in the spring and during the winter, and you're going to have to keep replacing them. And after a while, Durham finally said, well, let's just get rid of them, because this is too. And that was something that should have been looked into, because we're not a 10-month gorgeous weather, warm, climate where you can always do some of these notions and
Sure.
things that people talk about, but they didn't ask us.
No, it just, again, the tradition, and that's what I said when I was planning events, I love traditions.
Yes, yes.
And then, of course, now everybody's waiting for that cold weather, so White's Park will freeze over.
Yes, yes.
And next month, of course, and then the new year, we'll have that ice hockey
Yes.
tournament. And, I can remember as a kid, before the ever arena was built, that was the place to go to ice skate
Absolutely.
on Saturday and Sunday.
And they had music playing, and it was open until 8 or 9 at night sometimes. And, it was, you felt like you were a great skater out there too. You could,
I know it.
yeah, it really was a wonderful, and you never minded the cold because you were having so much fun.
Oh, I know
And
it.
that's a nice, piece of our community. And they still have it, but I don't think it's maintained quite as meticulously. When Betty Abbott was the director of Parks and Recreation, she was a skater, so she made sure that was ready.
Sure.
and that she could just come down from her office there in White's
Yeah.
Park and
Sure.
jump on the ice if she wanted to.
Yeah.
But, they do a nice enough job and everything, but I think part of it is that a lot of people want to go to the Everett, they don't want to be outside, and during the cold, but that was part of it. It was the same as getting on your toboggan, you forgot
Sure.
about the cold when
That's
you were
right.
having fun.
Yeah.
That was one of the things about youth, you don't mind things.
Now, I know you had mentioned to me, and I saw it in the newspaper as well, about school, we talk about schools, all of
Yes.
Edmond's dying.
Yeah, 103
I know,
years
can you imagine
old.
that?
I thought she was almost that when I had her when I went junior high, and that was a few
Now, what
years
did she
ago.
teach? English?
She taught English.
That's what I
Yes,
thought.
I can see her diagramming sentences on the chalkboard. Yes.
And she was a long-time Grange member too.
Yes.
in Chichester,
Yes,
right?
that's what it
I
said.
went back after that and I got thinking, now how many of my junior high teachers are still alive?
Mm-hmm.
Jim Blanchard is still alive. I
Mhm.
didn't have him, but
Okay.
he is still alive.
Mhm.
But on that second floor, I don't know if there's
No.
any of them.
I would assume Mrs. Sargent is still alive. Because she was very new, and she was only in her 20s back in the 60s. So
Yeah.
she's probably still around.
There was a Mrs. Giles and Miss Giles, and when I had for seventh grade
Mhm.
English,
Mm-hmm.
that was there, and she must be, I don't know whatever happened to
Mhm.
her.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you came downstairs to the 100 wing or the
Yes.
300 wing and all that, Mr. Thurston's still alive.
Still alive, right?
And then, other than that, I think they're all gone in that wing.
I would think so.
Now, there was a Mr. Wilson that did civics in 9th grade. I don't know if
Mhm.
he's still alive or not.
Mhm.
And then in the 400 wing, of course, there was Mrs. Coligi for the girls' home ec classes. And of course, Mr. Smith, I think he had the tree farm. I think he has passed
Yes, he
on.
did, yes.
Mr. Ullman was another
Oh,
one who
yes.
did electrical.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mr. Minor
Mr.
passed
Minor had
away about
passed
10
away.
years
He did
ago.
mechanical drawing.
And,
Mr. Marston is still alive,
Right.
though.
I don't know about
Felix,
Miss,
Gail Marston or Felix Marston?
I don't remember.
I can't remember, but I know.
I don't know if
he
Mr.
was-
McLaughlin is still alive. He may have
No,
gone,
he
no,
had passed away
in
because
his
he
sled
owned.
dogs.
Yes, because he owned, a ski area up in Salisbury.
Oh, okay.
A small ski area,
Mhm.
and he had passed away. Yeah. And then the 500 wing was Mr. Mark, who I had
Yes.
for 8th grade
Yes.
music, who owns Caring Gifts.
Mhm.
He's still living.
Mhm. Mhm.
And Mr. Black, who was the music
Music.
teacher, I don't know whether he is.
I don't know either. No, I don't.
So I was going through the list and trying to think
Amazing.
out all the ones that
Mhm.
were, Mr. Clark, no, Alvin Clark.
Mhm.
He took over general business when Mrs. Oliver
Yes.
broke her hip or something.
Mhm.
He took over her
Mhm.
class.
Mhm.
Now, he lives in Chichester, he's still alive.
Oh.
But other than that, there are not many from junior
No.
high that I can
Right.
remember that
No.
I had.
Mhm.
Well, Mr. Landry, the gym teacher,
Yes.
he's still alive.
Yes.
Okay, so he is.
Mhm.
But other than that, when I saw Olive Edmonds, I thought of you in your yearbooks
Mhm.
there, and
Mhm.
trying to think, God, Gosh, how many?
103 years.
How many teachers are, yeah, I know, can you imagine that though? The changes she saw,
Yes.
being even from Chichester, but see the changes she saw.
Mhm.
And Rutland itself,
Mhm.
you know, I mean, I still consider that place not the best for many years. But then you go to Concord High, and I'm still trying to think of how many teachers there are still living that we had that were up there. Because you went to Brady.
I was with Brady.
So yours
And the nuns
probably-
are ageless, so they're all still alive someplace, I'm
Yeah.
sure, with their yardsticks.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you know, I didn't know, so we didn't have to take on with that.
No.
It's like with Dame School, now Eleanor Graham was my second grade teacher, she's still living.
Mhm.
And Teresa Downing, who was my third grade teacher, she's still alive. Her sister Ellen Downing, who was
Mhm.
married
Yes.
to
Ozzie Wade.
Ozzie Wade, died
Yes.
recently. But, you know, it's amazing though, because
It is.
and of course Priscilla Fanny, who was my sister's second grade teacher, I think it was second grade or fourth grade, one of them. I didn't have her. She came after I left Dame School, or after I left that grade level.
Mhm.
She just passed away.
Mhm.
And my sister thought the world of her. But it was interesting to see how these teachers, when we were in school, they were, you know, we thought were elderly then.
Yes.
And come find out they weren't as
They
elderly
weren't.
as we thought they
No,
were.
no, someday we'll
But,
catch up.
Yeah, so.
Wow.
Anyhow, but it's just amazing, but we still doing good on time?
Up to you. I got
Okay,
for a while, so.
Yes.
Well, we're gonna do our close for now, and, because Paul has got some things to do, and, but thank you for joining us.
My
and
pleasure as always.
You have a great, great Christmas.
And you too, and all of your viewers.
And yes, and we will see you in the new year.
Absolutely. I look
With that,
forward.
and I want to thank my director, Ian, for coming in, and much appreciated. So with that in mind, have a great day, great evening, and thanks for joining us on Around Town.